fam, and happy Wednesday. This is week 2 and my favorite week because what are scenes, overlays, and profiles if they're not organized, right? I don't know. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a workflow that works for you because we're going to be offering you tips on how to name, recall, and archive your overlays, your scenes, and your profiles. All right, so this is what we're going to go over today, all of that. I will invite you to go along with us. My guest today is going to share is Faye, one of our EcammFam members, and she's going to share how she organizes hers. I'm going to share how I organize mine. So from there, you can find a way that works for you, and we will also love to see how you organize your scenes, overlays, and profiles, and you can share that in the EcammFam, in the Ecamm Facebook group, right? So that is what we're going to be doing today because, to me, an organized Ecamm makes you feel a little bit more confident when you're live and when you are recording because you know where everything is, you can recall it, and it just feels good. Just like when on week 1, we organized our desk and we organized our cables, that feeling is coming in with you in your live streams or in your recording. And so when you are in your panels and everything is organized, you're going to feel even more confident doing it, right? So any questions that you have as we go along, please feel free to ask. We're going to go in live demo and we're going to show you how I organize mine. And thank you so much for being here with us. So I'm going to go into live demo now. And then we're going to bring our awesome collaborator. All right, so here is the scenes panel right here. And then here is our overlays panel. I have it organized by, so what I do is if I have for Unmuted, we have 4 weeks that we're covering. So I have them organized in folders as we go along. And it's easy to copy, it's easy to refer to, and the same thing with the overlays. Let me get actually the Pro Mouse to see if you guys can see it better. Okay, here we go. All right, so the way I personally organize mine is I name it in capital letters because I want to be able to find it, right? So I have my waiting scene right here. I have my main scene. Oh my gosh, yes, aloud. I have my main scene, guests, comments. This is my guest, Faye, and this is her solo. So when she's going to come in, that's that. This is my closing, and this is just a pre-closer. And this is the closer. And I have it there because that is going to end the stream once I click it. Now, I have week 1, and that was last week, and it's all organized there. If I click it, we're going to see everything that we covered before, right, on week 1. Then if we, additional scenes that I might need, and there are specific scenes for specific reasons or use cases, I have it here as well. And then these are, I just have to move them up when I need them, right? So the same thing we do in the overlays panel. The overlays panel is, I want to say, overlays panel is really important because that's our overlays, right? So this is logo, and let me like this because I was doing something else. So here's all of the way we have it. So here's my Unmuted logo. This is my name. So the way I have my overlays organized is I have them in the way I see them, in the way my brain works. For Ecamm, when you when you add an overlay, it starts from the bottom up, but my brain works from top to bottom, right? So here's what I mean by that. Here's if I want to recall my logo is right here, right? Anahil follows next, right? Then my camera follows next, yeah? And then the blur follows next. So that's the way I would do it. If I was to add another overlay, it will go to the bottom because it's new, but then I will move it up, right? Let me know if you have any questions about that. But that's the way I will organize my overlays. Now, this is the tip that I learned from one of our EcammFam members, Michelle Lawrence. What she does is she uses emojis to recall specific scenes that she used the most. So for example, I will like for comments, right? We get comments right away. So let me say I do red. So I'm gonna do red and I'm going to select the red circle in here. Come here, circle. And he, of course, because we're live, he doesn't want to show up. So let's see, let's go to favorites and see if he's there. And then he just shows up. He does not want to show up in the scene. Nope. All right, let's try again. Let me do it a different way. We can recall emojis. Okay, here we go. So he showed up a different way. So I have that, but it actually, I don't want it in main scene. I want it in comment. So I double click there, and then I'll add the red. So when we are live, and I want to just quickly go to the comments, I know the comments are red, right? So if I want to go to guests, then here's my guest. I just came in and introduced you, Faye, without. So this is our guest, Faye, but we'll come back to Faye in a minute. And this is scene. So if I wanted to add a main scene, an emoji to the main scene, I can do the same thing. So I will go to emojis, and in here, perhaps I'll do a little, I don't know why. They're just like, do you guys know why it doesn't show up? The emojis, and like they just don't want to do recalling. Here we go. Nope. Add to favorites again. Nope. I'm not sure why it doesn't want to do it. But you get the gist of it. Maybe later it will show up. But this is how I arrange a little bit farther, right? So we're building on top of it. First is no emojis, and second, I will have emojis if I have a lot of slides, meaning a lot of scenes, and I want to go into that specific scene, then I will just go and tag it, right? Color code it so that it's easier to recall, right? And so now is the same thing for everything else. Every time you create a scene, and this is typically how I see the profiles when I'm helping my clients, right? They create a scene. The scene is here. They just leave it as new scene. Now, that is not the best practice, because if you have tons of new scenes, and then you copy the scene, for example, you're gonna have a copy of new scene. So can you imagine being live and then having to recall something? You're gonna be trying to wonder which one it is that you wanna go to. And that is not, right? That is not the greatest. And you can have copy of scene multiple times if you are copying the same scene. So here's what I will do, right? I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna delete this one. And I'm just gonna do this one scene. It's super easy, fam, or simple, I guess I should say, because now you just say active, for example. I use this a lot, active window, which is the one that you're gonna be active in. That's just the way I will label it. And then from here, if I wanted to just make a copy of it, then I'll do option drag, and it's gonna do copy of the action window. It's already highlighted for you. So you don't even have to highlight. Ecamm makes it simple. So in here, you're gonna say, active window 2, if you wanted to, right? And that's it, because it's already highlighted. It's super simple to do. This is what I mean by that. So I'm going to delete this too, because I won't need them. But then, hi Faye again. but then you get Faye, you gotta be ready, because I'm gonna be switching for you. And then I'm going to create another scene. I have this comment scene, but I'm going to show you just when you are creating inside of Ecamm, how important it is even more important to keep organized your overlays and your scenes. So, and here I'm just gonna call it comments, and I'm gonna call it comments 2 because I already have a comment 1. And now what I want to do is I'm going to switch my camera to to blank. So I'm just going to go source and blank. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring, so Faye, I'm going to bring you in again, okay? I should have, actually, I'm not gonna bring you in yet. I lied. So I'm just going to create, for example, and I'm just gonna be showing you. See, so rectangle right here. You, right away, you just go and you do background. And you have got a label. Here, my camera, I'm going to name it host camera. And then I'm going to bring another color. I'm gonna do white. Where's my color pencil? I'm gonna do white. Right, so now we have another rectangle. We don't wanna leave it as rectangle, so I'm gonna do comments box. Box, wait. Comments box? Okay, comments box. Right, so we have that. Now I'm going to bring our amazing guest who has been so patiently behind the scenes waiting. I'm gonna bring her back in. So for here, this is a lot. I see this done a lot. We drag the camera, right? And then it's copy of host camera. Again, guest camera. Now that we have two cameras here, we're going to create a folder so that we can keep our cameras organized. We're gonna click here and we're gonna name it cameras. And in here, we're just going to add it to our folders, right? So, my cam link, I'm going to bring them all the way up here and gonna lock mine. Gonna lock mine, and then I'm going to bring Faye in. There you go, Faye. And where are you, Faye? Here we go. Wait. Oh, I have it both in the, wait a second, Faye. Go for it. Go for it. Say hello. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going
Hello.
to... Yeah, say hello while I go.
Hello, EcammFam.
Hello, EcammFam. And then Faye, actually introduce yourself now while I figured out why my camera is not coming up. And if you in the comments are figuring out, because I'm live, why my camera is not coming up, please let me know. What I'm gonna try this again. Okay, here we go. Okay, got it.
So I should go ahead, Anna, and
yes, go ahead and introduce yourself. Introduce yourself, Faye.
Hello, EcammFam. My name is Faye, and I have a company called Cozy Arts. And in 2021, actually at the end of 2020, when we were still in the pandemic and theater didn't exist, and teaching artists didn't have a home to go into because schools were still closed, I started imagining what it would be like to take the magic and engagement and fun and joy of children being in a live theater show and pair it with the educational content that I had been working on when I was working in schools. And a lot of it was leaning into this social emotional learning. So who are we as humans in this world, and how do we show up in our communities, and how can we be protagonists in our communities? And younger ages. And there was some money floating around to help people who are in my situation where our industry just didn't exist anymore to transition to online. And I discovered I discovered Ecamm actually through a puppeteer who was using it, but using it really, they would set up their camera, they would do their live show, and oops, excuse me, I am playing with my OBS bot mini for the first time, and it seems to think that I need to be really close to you. And I don't know.
Chaos.
Never try new technology for the first time when you're live. I know that, but sorry, friends, you're going to have to see me this close up because I do not know how to make the camera back up a little bit.
Wait, didn't you have another camera, Faye? Didn't you have another one?
I do. You know what? Let's just take the second camera. I also have, look, Sarah's coming to the rescue. She's it's okay. I've got the other one set up. It's good. There we go.
There we go.
This is my another camera, and There we go. So yes, so there was money floating around, and that's when I took Adrian's Ecamm Academy, and I basically pitched all these shows that I was gonna do this thing, this live amazing thing, and I had people filming content and musicians making music, and I didn't even know how to put it together, and I literally learned how to put it together with Ecamm a week before I was going live in schools, and I've been doing it for the last 4 years, and
Yeah.
it's been amazing. And the reason I'm very excited right now about doing this with you is because in the new year we're going to be taking out of these controlled spaces and putting it out into the world through YouTube, keeping that live engagement, trying to figure out safe and engaging ways to put it out into to create a live space where children can interact with Mrs. Flutterby, is the character I play.
Oh, thank you so much, Faye. And we are happy to have you as an EcammFam member, and glad that it's working great for you. And I cannot wait for you to show us, because you have a lot of different scenes and a lot of different needs for all of your clients, right, in your shows. So having your stuff organized not only inside of Ecamm but also on your computer where the assets live is very important. So I cannot wait to see
Yeah.
how you organize yours. But I just want to go back now to the scene that I was creating earlier, so that I can show you how it looks. So we're going to show you now. So now we have the cameras, and there's a folder with a camera, right? And then there's a comment box, and then there is a background. Once we add, I'm gonna bring the comment from Marianne. And then once we add the comment here, right, then it's just simple as it does it. So if we had it all out, it would just not look, in my opinion, right, it will not look that clean for you. So when you have to, and if you wanted to do something, for example, you want to hide the cameras because you want to show something else, then it's easy for you to hide them because they are inside a folder. Now the background and the comments background, I'm gonna leave it like that, because for me it's okay to have it this way. But if you wanted to include them in a folder because you're gonna have more assets in the overlays panel, then that will be something that you will decide whether it works for your brain or not, right? So that is for how important it is to organize your overlays, right? Because the more overlays you have, the more the trickier it gets if you don't have them organized. Yes? So let me know, fam, if you agree with this, how are you liking it? How do you do it? Please just share. Do you create folders? Do you name your overlays? Because I have seen a lot of fam members sharing theirs, and it is how do I put it? It might make sense for them at one moment, but when you're live and when you're presenting, it's like showing up to your graduation, right, without your cap and gown. Yeah, so like you have prepared all these scenes, you have prepared all of this, and then when you're on graduation, which is when you're going live, your scenes are not organized and all of that. So it's like you're not presenting yourself like your best self, yeah, when you do that. And I want that for you, right? I want you to present yourself on your best self so that you can be your best self when you're presenting whatever it is that you're doing. And yes, okay, so now let's go back to this comment scene, the other one, and bring in, okay, so oh, hello, Taisha. All right, so Taisha says, I agree. I create folders and I name everything. Good for you. I mean, that's good for you. And then, hey, Gretchen, I have started using folders more and more, and they definitely help. They do. And then also, if the emojis can work for me, right, I'm gonna try it again. But emojis, having them to being able to recall what you're looking for while you're live has been, for lack of a better phrase, a game changer for me. So here we go. So again, main scenes, and in here, right, this profile actually was created by the one and only Marshall. So it's like, for me, it's like, all right, so here goes camera A, and that's me. So I can name it to host camera. and then everything else for me is fine. I don't need to put anything else in folders because this is super simple. Then when we go to guest, this is when now things are starting to look, right, a little bit to me too much. So here's where I go again. Okay, so I'm going to create a folder and I'm going to label the cameras. And in here, I'm going to add all the cameras. So as I was saying earlier, well, actually, let me go into live demo because I don't think you guys are seeing this. All right, so then right now, I didn't have, I created the folders camera while I was out of live demo. And now what I do is what I was mentioning earlier, that when you add an overlay, Ecamm adds it to the bottom. So I'm going to move camera A because camera A, I come first before Faye, right, in this layout. So I'm gonna move it to A because I have to change something, I have to adjust my framing or phase. In a pinch, I know that my camera comes first. Or if it was the other way around, I will know that Faye's camera comes first. So in here now, I just do host and guest. And now in here, I will move them so to the folder. Right? Now that's looking better. In my opinion, that's looking good. And then here, these are our names. So I can go even farther and I can say, I can add names. And in here, I will add both of our names and then I'll move it up. Wait a second. So Faye, what do you think about this so far? You're muted, my love.
I'm in a studio that clinks and clanks when it heats up, so I muted myself. I love it. Order I think when you have order, then you can really just be dynamic and fluid in the presentation.
For sure.
Because you know everything behind you is going to work.
And then now you see how it was before, and now you see how it is now. It's a little bit more organized. So now I have an effects here, blur. Sometimes I add more effects. So I create a folder that's effects, and I will add it here, and then I'm gonna move it down. Okay. And now it's beautiful to me. Now as everything is, if I wanted to hide the name because I wanted to bring a comment in, let's say, right? Now it's easy for me to do. I can bring a comment in right here. And then once I'm done with it, then I can bring the names again, right? So it'll be easy, and I will demonstrate it now after I read it's common. Okay, can we have folders automatically close in the show in all scenes? Part of the overlays panels, I use several different overhead views of my piano, and they're in folder that default to begin to open. Okay, can we have folders automatically close in the show and all things? That sounds like a feature request. I mean, you can manually do it if I'm understanding you correctly yet, but I'm not sure if it automatically can do it. Yeah, I'm not sure. So let me know if I answer that question and maybe rephrase it so that I can understand it live. Okay, so again, I'm going to delete this comment from here. And then I'm going to bring the names back up. Yeah, so it's simple, right? Making it simple for you. So if you don't want to change scenes, then you can stay here and then add your comments and all of that. And then if I wanted to remove the effect, it's removed. So it's easy to do. Now we lock everything. Let me see if I did that. Yep, everything is locked. Just make sure that you lock all your scenes and overlays after you're done. And yep. And that's that, right? And we already did this one. This is how we did this one. And then this is the actual comment window. And this is, again, look at how it looks. So let's look at this overlay comment window that I have here compared to the other comment window that I have, right? It's very different. And it's like in here, I know exactly what I need to go. And here, I have to find, right? I have to find something. And I don't want to find it when I'm live or when I'm recording or in a presentation. I just want to see it, right? I want to just right away. It's like, okay, this is where I go. Instead of being like, where do I go? I know where I go. if that makes sense.
And you
Yes.
know what I really love about what you created as well is that even though it's a completely different look, there's harmony because you've lived within the same branded colors. So I'm seeing that top left corner color becomes a wider swath. So as we're changing the looks to have some sort of continuity, whether it's, you know, in the color, in shape, I
Thank
just
you.
was
Thank you
tracking
for that. Yes. So, okay. So here we go again. Again, I'm gonna do it one more time, and then I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna answer some questions that I see in the comments, and then I'm gonna pass it on to you. So we're gonna go. Okay, here again. Just we're gonna do cameras. We're going to, and then we move the cameras. We're gonna do the effects, and if we wanted to do one for logos because we have different logos, we can do that as well. So. Oh my gosh, that's not logos. Okay. Right, and then from there, we add everything. And again, I'm moving my camera up so that it can make sense. And the blur. And then move the blur down. Right, so now it's looking a little bit better, fam. Like it's just a little bit more organized. Yes? Okay, so let's go to the comments real quick and see what we have. And then Faye, it's gonna be your turn to share how you organize your overlays and scenes. And then we're going to also share how you can archive them. Because if we go to, once we have a lot of scenes and a lot of folders, then even though they're organized, we don't need to have them in the same scene, right? So that's when we can either create a profile with those different scenes or archive them. And we will do that after Faye shows us ours. So, okay, so let's go to comments and see what we got. I learned from YouTube, from the Building Black series. Okay, there we go. Yes. And then I like the ability to put a hotkey on linked folders, then I can turn that whole folder off and on. Yes, that is, thank you, Gretchen, that is a great tip. And we'll have to, yeah, Marianne, yeah, locking the scenes is very important. Okay, so now I'm gonna pass it on to you, Faye. I'm gonna put you in solo so that you can share with us how you organize your assets and all the shows that you do.
Excellent. First of all, I want to acknowledge if you hear clanking in the background, I'm in an old, my studio is in an old building and the heat just kicked in. So I'm just going to go straight into demo mode. And so this is when well, I know we're talking about profiles later, but so I'm in my profile 2024 Imagination Station. As you can see here, I actually duplicated it and made myself a 2025 Imagination Station. That's the name of the sequence of shows, thinking that I was going to revamp it all, which I didn't. So that's just sitting there. So I'm in that profile. And in the profile, I have a folder for each live engagement that I do. And so these are the folders. And I'm going to show you two things at once. I'm going to show you how I'm organizing it in Ecamm, but also how I'm keeping all those assets, like sound effects, overlays, things like that, in one place in a folder on my computer so that you see how there's a lockup. So if you see here, it says E1, that's episode 1, Hello Dragon. So I have a folder on my desktop. If I move this down, you can see it right here. It's called Imagination Station. Interesting problem. I've rebranded it. It's called Cozy Lives. But if I change the name of the folder, it breaks the connection. So choose, I mean, maybe somebody out there in the family knows how you can change the name of the folder without breaking connection. But for me, I haven't figured it out. So choose wisely. So I've already opened that folder, which is down here. So everything that belongs to this sequence of scenes is in this folder. So I keep it tight. So if I ever want to change something out, I know where to go and put it. so that I don't start getting lost because I have a lot of content. And also, we're often redoing videos or sound, making subtle changes, whether it's to balance levels or something. So if you look behind me, there is a green. I have a big green screen. It's 25 feet wide, 9 feet tall, and was I you're seeing it because it was the easiest thing to do, but it's also quite wise because you're going to see how I organize that as well. So to open the scene, this one's going to make me go quiet. So I have my holding the spot when people are gathering, and I'm just going to go into that. Whoops. Well, it looks like, my friends, it looks like I was playing with this one. So we're going to pass over that. So what I've done is each scene is travels through the show. So maybe first it's Mrs. Flutterby, but then I say my name, which means I need another scene with my name. And as you can see, as Anna was showing you, it shows up in my current scene. I don't have anything like many of you would have where you would want it in all of your scenes. For me, all of my assets live in the current scenes. And I do the exact same thing Anna was talking about, which is making sure that, you know, what you thinking the way she thinks, like the layers and what's at the top is the front. And so thinking that way. So, so if you look, yeah, so we travel through the show, and sometimes we have a duplicate scene because if you look here, Mrs. Flutterby and Mrs. Flutterby, that's the exact same scene. But I actually stack some of the same ones because if I travel away from me, because I need to introduce somebody, like Professor Lumens, I want to return back to me. If I stack it that it's just me, then a scene with an overlay, then just my camera again. Then I can load this is about how I load my my Elgato pedal, because I have an Elgato pedal that is loaded so it can go next scene, next scene, next scene. So my hands are free. I never have to touch a button. So that's why even though there's repetition, you'll see, and it could be if I didn't have repetition, you would see a lot less in this folder. But because I want the ability to just track through, and Mrs. Flutterby can be doing big movements, or like many of you out there, if you're playing guitar or you're doing a yoga pose or something, you don't want to have to stop doing what you're doing so that you can press a key on your Stream Deck. That's how it works for me. Now, the one thing that's different, if you look at this folder has the videos that I need, and it also has the music that is part of this. Now, I do have one extra folder over here called Ecamm Extras. So if there is a sound cue that is in every episode, I put it there. If there is a background, like this background, Mrs. Flutterby's background, it's in every single engagement I do. Well, I don't want to have to repeat it and put it in every folder. So I just have this one folder of all the assets that I will need if it's in multiple scenes. Does that make sense, Anna, what I'm saying?
It does, yes, it does. And I really enjoy how it is such a breath of fresh air seeing your organized folders and how you have them. So you have them 000, the ones that you are going to use most or that you want to write, you want them to be on the tab of that folder. And then you go on with the rest of them. That is next level. That is next level. And I love it how you have the sounds, you have the images, and then also, wait, let me bring myself in here for you. And then also you have the videos, which is really important because, as you mentioned earlier, with your main master folder, you cannot rename it because it's gonna break everything, right? So that's also what happens in Ecamm. Sometimes we have a scene and we have a video there, and typically happens with videos, and then you delete it and you moved it because you're getting organized. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm organized. But then when you go back to Ecamm and you're trying to recall it, Ecamm says, I'm sorry, but I can't find that file. Can you locate it? And it will actually ask you that. So you want to locate it? And then you click and you locate. but that will take you extra time. So as you're organizing, labeling, structuring your new workflow, keep that in mind so that then you can organize it in a way that you won't have to break the main folder, because we want to be
Right.
productive in here. So yes, Faye.
Yeah, and actually speaking to that, so I do label my main folder lines up. So one Hello Dragon, E1 Hello Dragon. Now here's where I break that form, because I want titles. If I have to do something, like how it is when you're doing something live and things can go wonky, even if you've done all of you've rehearsed, you've practiced. Um, I want it super fast for me to identify. So if you look here, this scene is called Rory P1. And if I hit it, hello, Rory, it goes to this video. Now, the corresponding video is not called Rory 1. It's called Cozy Hello Dragon 2 underscore part 1 underscore 0180. That's because when the editor who edits the videos gave it to me, that's what it was called. So I don't want to start relabeling things that people have given me or that I've downloaded, because it's really important that I can be able, if I need to change anything, I need to be able to go, oh, right. Hey, B Productions, can you shorten this video? And if I just tell them Rory 1, they're going to be like, what? So I do have a discrepancy in naming, only so that Ecamm, the folder, is as efficient as it can be for me, and Ecamm assets on my computer folder is as efficient as it can be to be able to work with the different people that I work with, or even myself. Some of you are doing everything in house, but you want to be able to keep that so you can go back and look at the edits. At least that's how I do it.
Yeah, and that's great. Thank you for sharing that and explaining that, Faye, because that's what makes sense to you, right? In that workflow, if you were to change the name, then you will have to recall what it is, and then it creates more extra work for you because you will have to remember and then going back to your editor, and the editor is not going to remember. So that is what we mentioned at the beginning, fam, that find a workflow that works for you. So Faye does it her specific way for her needs. I do it a specific way for my needs. You can get here and there tips on how it's done and adjust it to you and what makes sense for you. So that when you go live, it's just like, Faye saying, like, I want to be able to find it, right? You just find it. And so, yeah. Okay.
Every
Go ahead,
brain
Faye.
works differently, for
Yeah.
sure. And just one last folder to show you, which is, like, I don't want to always have to change profiles if I'm just doing something quick or I'm doing a quick collaboration. So I've created this extra folder at the bottom so I don't clutter things, and it's called extras. And underneath it, it's like, my son wanted to make a movie. There's the stuff he needed. Today, this is today. I wanted to play with this OBS bot, the one that we got from the from the camp, Ecamm camp. I was lucky that Sarah, my colleague, she won it and then she gifted it to me. So I wanted to try it. So I just put it here. So this is almost like my the junk drawer in the
Yeah,
kitchen. You
yeah.
open it up and it's just
Yeah. But you know
this is
what? You know what, Faye? Even the junk drawer needs to be organized, right? Even it, and
yes.
you have it, right? You have it organized. You're like, okay, this is for later for you. You call it, what do you call it? Ecamm extras? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, it's just called extras. Yeah.
Extras.
Yeah.
For me, I
Yeah.
call it additional scenes, right? So it's just like a different thing, but it's related to that specific profile. I don't have something that is related to something else because I want to keep it organized. And this is where we're going to hit into profiles in a little bit. So continue, Faye.
I think for me, yeah, I mean, for me, it's a repeat, like you said, making it so it works with your brain. So because that works for my brain to have the scenes, so it's like a show order, like from scene to scene to scene. Think about it like I'm creating like a live children's programming. So if I need a puppet to come in, then that's the next scene. If I need the puppet to go out, then it's I change it to my camera. So I always build every folder the same because the product that I have is very specific, and it doesn't deviate a lot. In the new year, when we start doing the new programming, we'll see how that changes. But for me, that's how it's worked so far. Um, and like I said, I don't know if this counts because we're talking about how we organize. To me, there's three parts, right? Like, well, there's four. There's your. This is how I think about it. There's the profile that you're in. So this is all housed under the profile, and then I have my folders, and then the scenes are in the folders. But then there's like, how is the content organized on my computer so that Ecamm can find it? But then there's one other component we're not talking about. But for me, it's also because I use Stream Decks and pedals, it's also how does it all line up with the Ecamm, I mean the Elgato pedals and Stream Decks. So that's sort of like the fourth component of how my brain thinks. So I have to
Yeah.
make sure that everything lines up so that it's a lockup. And I know we're not talking about that today, but a lot of I will say that a lot of the choices that I'm making of how this travels through is directly related to how the stream decks or the pedals use and the choices I'm making about how I travel through the engagement. I have a stream deck, and in the stream deck, every scene is loaded up so that I can, if something goes wrong or if I want to change the order, I can manually do it. But then my pedals are preloaded with just going forward, 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 or hide me. You know, those that's so I have the forward, hide me, and then a song. That's it in the pedals. And then the Elgato Stream Deck is just it's just each button is a different scene. And what's cool about I have one here. What's cool about that is then I don't actually like this one. If it was Mrs. Flutterby, like me, I would only load it one time because I don't need to many times. So, you know, to me, I know we're not talking about that, but for my brain, it is part of the puzzle of the choices I make in my folders.
Yeah, that makes sense though. That makes sense, Faye. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. So, okay, so Faye, we're going back to the your solo scene. Now we're going to quickly go over profiles because profile is another way for you to organize your scenes, to organize the profile. In the profile, if for example, the way I use it is if I have a series where the series is going to be recorded, I will have a profile for just those scenes. So I don't have different just that specific use case, which is recording. And what I mean by that is when you are, I cannot show you the profiles itself because I'm live, but for example, if we go here to profile, you will see it vaguely, but this is the unmuted profile that I'm in right now. This is unmuted takeover messy because I was messing around with how it will look like it was and I didn't like it, so I didn't even use it. Then I have workshops, and this is just testing. So I have a duplicate of my workshops, but I have also one to test so that I can organize it, reorganize it, rearrange it, change the layouts, and not affect the original one. So once I like something, then I can go back to the main one, copy the scene that I liked, and then bring it to the real workshop profile because I don't want to mess with anything there. Right? Sometimes what happens, I don't know if it has happened to you, but I have been in a scene and I'm working on it and I'm thinking that I switched the scene and I didn't. So I rearranged the whole scene, and at that time it's just like no amount of undos is going to undo everything that I did. So I end up deleting it, and that is not right, it's not productive. So that's what I do. I just copy that profile and then I just play around with it there. Then we have tutorials, Ecamm en Español. So I have all of my profiles ready in here. And this is the main workshop that I was mentioning earlier. This is my profile that I don't mess with. So the benefit to having profiles for me is that one, you have it recorded, you go in, you already have all of your scenes that are related to it. And even more so, you have the channels that you're going to be streaming into already. So you don't have, if you have one profile with multiple, multi-stream, then you don't have to be deleting or making sure that you don't go live accidentally into that profile, into that channel. So I have everything the way I need it in that specific profile. That includes if I'm gonna have any LUTs. It includes if it's a different color palette. It includes sound effects and music, all the things. So when I do go, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna record this tutorial. I'm gonna just click in that, and I know that profile has exactly everything that I need for going live, right? For recording. The same thing for going live, the same thing for vertical, if I'm going vertical, so that you have all your things organized, yeah? And so sometimes if I have a profile, again, I talked about duplicating a profile. It's super easy to do because you just have to duplicate. So if you see right here, you have create new blank profile, you have duplicate your current profile, and then you have export current profile. Yeah. So when you want to organize it and just like, okay, I'm done with this profile, I'm going to bring it to another computer. I'm going to bring it because I'm going to be out on location. That's when you export that and then you move it into another folder, to another computer, external hard drive, however you want to do it. You want to rename a profile because now you first named it 123 and now you have the name for that profile. Then you go in and then you rename your current profile or whatever profile it is that you're on. Yeah. So that is the benefits of having having profiles and how you can rename it and export it. I'm going to click here, right? So you see if you wanted to just export specific scenes, because you're not using it anymore, right? But you don't want to delete them. You go and you highlight, for example, additional scenes. You're gonna click here, and then in there is going to export it. I'm not gonna click on this because on the folder that I have a lot of other private things, so I'm not clicking on it. But when you click on this, it's gonna bring you into ask you where do you wanna save it, how do you wanna name it, all the things, and then you will select where you wanna save it. You will do the same thing with scenes. So say you want to you don't have it in a folder, you just want to export specific scenes. You are going to click the specific scenes that you want, right? Now that they are highlighted, you will click share here to export and it will export, right? So those are the different ways that you can go and do that. And let's see. Faye, how do you do your profiles, exporting and archiving and things like that?
Thank you for asking. That was one of my questions because I'm just in the process of moving off of the computer that I am on right now to the new computer that I was really lucky to be able to talk to Doc, and he gave me advice on what to buy. And so I have never actually had to export, and I'm about to do it. So I don't have a great trick for that, and I'm just
Okay.
grateful to learn.
Yes.
I found
Okay.
I actually have a question. When you do export onto, let's say I do what you just said and you put it into a new computer, will it automatically pair up with any any other, like the Stream Decks and things like that? That automatically partners as soon as you load it into your new device, or is that true?
I want to say at first instinct, it doesn't, right? And here's what I think it doesn't is you're bringing it into a different computer, and the files I don't, and then fam in the comments, feel free to share if you know this, you have done this before. I haven't done that, Faye, like that, but I do have to, when I export it and I'm using a Stream Deck, I do have to program it again on the Stream Deck. So it doesn't automatically transfer for me.
That was my question.
Yeah, when I did that, and that was last month I did it, I had to actually program it again. But if there's a way, and you know in the chat, please share it with us because that will be pretty nice. But yeah, Faye, so what you do is you do that, you export your profile to either a hard drive, an external hard drive, or if you are connected, in your network, you just transfer it, save it into that computer that you have, and then you're gonna either drag and drop to your Ecamm, right? If you have it open already, the profile, or you're just gonna double click the profile itself and then it will open up in Ecamm. Ecamm makes it really, really easy. But in terms of the Stream Deck, hey Doc, instead of the Stream Deck, I do believe, and then Doc, actually you're here, you can let us know if it does transfer and it is programmed already. But yeah, that's how you would do your profiles, right? And I would say profiles are a hidden talent, hidden talent in Ecamm, because you can have multiple use cases. You can have one for just playing around with your sound effects, playing around with your color effects, playing around with zoom settings, and it's not going to mess any other profile because you are in a profile that is just your test, your game, your playground, right? Profile. And so once you learn there, now you're gonna take that and bring it into your profile, right? The main one that you
Feels to me
use.
like it's a thing that I don't use enough, and I think maybe many of us, because it is, like you said, it's a really safe way to try new things. But I often forget to go, oh yeah, actually that's a really easy way to, if we're thinking about a pyramid, like it's the top layer, not
Right.
our folders. It's the profiles on the top before.
Exactly, exactly. So let's see what Paul is saying. Let me bring it back. I actually didn't arrange this before. Let's see. Let's see, Paul. Having a master profile that you can just duplicate when you want to create a new one will save you a lot of time. All your preferences will be there. That's exactly right. That is the one of the benefits of having a profile. So for you, Faye, especially for all the things that you do, right?
many
And like
things.
bringing your puppets in and having a new puppet, maybe giving them some shade or something, like a little bit of shadow or whatever, right?
Or a little
A little
bling.
sound effect, exactly, little sound effect. You can play around there and it's not gonna mess your current profile, right?
Exactly.
So let's see. Gretchen, I use profiles like that. I have one for each use case, like Zoom, vertical video, our demo, storytelling show, yep. And it just makes it great because once you go there, you're gonna find everything. You just go into your drawer because you know that the forks go there. These are where the forks are, if that makes sense. Let's see. How do you create that dividing line in your profiles list, Anna? What dividing line? We're talking about. I think that's actually is this what you mean, Ed? Because if that's what you mean, that's already in Ecamm. So it just divides it itself by where you have. So because I have multiple profiles, perhaps that's why that's there, if that's what you mean. And let's see. What do we have? Okay, if you export and import your Stream Deck profiles, that should work. Okay, there we go. So, okay, there you go. Okay, let me see if I have. I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out another place to put my. But that's a week one problem.
That's what you do. Isn't it great when somebody says something and you're like, yeah.
That makes sense, right? Oh, that makes sense. Hey, Wayne, nice to see you here. And here's my guy. Hi, I miss you. Haven't seen you in a minute. I'm trying to come to. Oh, hey, let's go.
I have so many questions for you, Doc.
When
I'm going to be showing up at tech time,
When you go to a new Mac, hi, Go for Technology, how are you? When you go to a new Mac, using Migration Assistant should keep all of your connections. Okay, you see, so we have brains in that chat. Thank you.
So many brains.
We have brains in that chat. I'm committed to getting this set up for 2026 and conversations with Taisha. Yes, this is what we're here for. Unmuting our voices, right? Digital voices, physical voices, which was week one, right? Just uncluttering our desk and organizing our cables, which is a huge part of what we do. And then now we are uncluttering our Ecamm and making it work for us. So 2026 is going to be completely unmuted for us. Yes, and then, okay, what do we have, Doc? What are you trying to do again? I'm pre-COVID, but I can help. All right, so Paul answered it for us and Go for Technology answer it for us. It was once exporting a profile, would it need to be reprogrammed? in the new computer and pull Answer. If you export your Stream Deck profiles as well, it should connect.
Don't worry, Doc. There's so many more questions for you. I'll be after at tech time.
So pro tip from Doc, thank you. Pro tip, don't try to get the whole setup in one day, right? And add one new button a day until you got what you want. I have a test page for Plane. I just make a button. Yes, exactly. Just do it one step at a time and just play around with it. And okay. Here we go. Okay, so they're just talking over there. So okay, fam. So this is again, this is what we want you to do. We want you to organize your scenes, your overlays, so that they work for you. The tips that Faye shared, the tips that I shared, and one of them that works for me that I'm not sure why it's not working now, but I'm gonna blame it on the pro mouse. Right? I'm gonna blame it. Pro mouse is just not being pro with me right now in this sense. And you add little recalling, so you tag your scenes. Yeah, so the scenes that you you know that you need a lot of scenes. So for example, for you, Faye, you have a lot of scenes. And if there's one scene specific that you just want to go to without reading through, adding an emoji or something similar, tagging it, will make you visually right away just look and find it, and you just have to click it if you're not using your pedal, right? So that is the one tip that I enjoy. Michelle Lauren shared it with us a while ago, and I've been using it ever since. She uses it for ChatGPT. I use it for Ecamm. And the same thing with overlays. So go into the Ecamm Live community, fam, and share your before and your afters of how you organized. It can be a video or it can be a photo, because as you saw, Faye has a different use case than I do. So her organization looks completely different than my organization. And so yours will also look different. But what I learned from Faye today was the way she organizes her external folders with the numbers. Because I do the numbers. If I have some folders that I want to recall first on that specific folders, I do label it 0 so that I can find it at the top. But then she takes it one step farther. She just adds dashes. She adds the numbers, all of that, right? So she takes it one step farther. That's something that I learned from her, and I'm going to apply it on mine. So we would like to see what you have and how you do it, so that we can apply it as well if it works with our use cases. So Faye, any other questions that you have for us?
I don't have any other questions for right now. But I wanted to call back one thing that Katie said last week that I also found very inspiring, that Brandon said about off season, being on off season, and then going to play the game. And I just feel like that's what we're all doing, and it's a good time to be sort of going, okay, let's get this going so that we can all get out there and hit some home runs in the new year. So it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely exciting. And to that, thank you for the segue, Faye. To that, remember that this is a month-long challenge, Takeover. You can still join us on week 1. Week 1 was I want to say the toughest, or not toughest, but like more intensive in terms of what you need to do, because it was organizing your cables and organizing your desk. Once you do that, the rest is easy. I mean, a little bit more simple. So week 2 is organizing our Ecamm and making it work for us, and organizing and deleting profiles that we don't need, right? Because as you saw earlier, you go to profile, and then if you want to delete it, you delete it. If you want to delete a scene, you delete a scene. Yeah, and it's not a big deal to delete it. You're not going to delete the entire profile by deleting a scene. Yeah, so that is just going to make your profile look better. So we want to see all of that. Then next week, week 3, we have Marianne. And Marianne is showing us how to plan our content. That lady knows what she's doing. So she show us how to do it in the traditional way and how to do it the modern digital way, and then also having a hybrid of how to do that. She worked with Notion, and that is the free version of Notion, and it's very simple the way she does it. So that's going to be next week. And then the following week, we have Creating Video with Ease. We have our girl Diana Glatney, and we have our girl Mary Lou Mandel, who are going to show us how they create videos, engage in videos, quick and effective so that you can repurpose it, just push it out and do your thing, right? And it can do the thing for you. And this is it, right? And then we have a wrap up. But for now, I want us to work on this. Work on Ecamm, work on your organization, label it, make it work for you. You will see how amazing you're gonna feel because you're gonna go into Ecamm, you're gonna open it and everything is gonna be there for you. And this is what we want for you, organization. Yeah, so if you have any questions about this, you can either do it, write it in the comments here in the video or come into the Ecamm Live Facebook community and write it there. Add your before and after. There's already a thread there. The link is going to be in the comment so that you can go and share your before and afters, how you do it. Yeah, so it's so exciting to have you here. We will see you next week, and that would be for the content planning workflow. And again, thank you so much. My name is Ana Gil. And I'm here with Unmuted, unmuting your year because 2026 is going to be amazing. Faye, thank you so much for being here with us.
Real
Thank
pleasure.
you for sharing.
It was a joy. Thanks for the invite.
Yes, of course. And we will see you in the community sharing your because I would like to see it. If it's okay for you to share that, I would love to see that in the community so that other EcammFam members can see the process and the file naming structure that you have.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. All right. So let's see what we have here. Fam, thank you so much. Yeah, no puppets for Faye today. She actually showed us a little bit of puppets, but but we're good. All right, fam. So thank you so much for being here with us, and we will see you next week.